So, as a healthcare worker, we are only legally confined and held accountable for talking or providing medical information to whoever the resident, the patient has listed as their HIPAA contact. Um, no matter what your relation is to that person, if they're asked who do they want to be told their information to, who do you want us to call if something happens to you, and or to discuss or update them about your medical condition, any change of meds, anything going on like that. Like, the resident patient makes that decision, and we have to legally stand by that decision despite family dynamics, family conflicts. A lot of times we get verbally abused because of people's personal feelings about what they've done for this person, who this person is to them in their life. And we can respect their perspective and their history with that person. But this is who the resident patient has listed as their HIPAA contact. So, and we were discussing, the conflict of when there's different family conflicts and dynamics, and family members don't like other family members. And, sometimes there's a battle between the children and the new spouse. So we as healthcare workers we don't take sides. We don't get into all of that. We literally pull up the chart, ask them their name, and be able to identify whatever markers that we have that they have to identify to prove that they are the person that we're talking to. And that's the only person. So whether it's the firstborn, it's the husband of or wife of umpteen years, is whatever is in that file or in their chart. That are the people that we can talk to, because they did not take the time to have these conversations with their loved ones about information being shared.
Mhm. Right, true. I just want to touch on a couple things. Um, I don't know the dynamics, so I'm gonna go from my perspective might be a little bit different from yours. And
Mhm.
I will say that things change, people's health conditions change, and what worked in your will or in your HIPAA directive or healthcare advanced health directive may have worked then, but it may not work now.
Mhm.
And what I mean is that, for example, if you gave your spouse um, the power of attorney to make medical decisions, and say that document is about 5 years old or 10 years old, because that's one thing that we need to be proactive about is updating our
Yes.
legal documents. We need
Yes.
to make sure they're updated on a regular basis. And when I say regular, I would say yearly,
Mhm.
because things are happening. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And so what might have been fine 5 years ago, it may not be fine today.
Mhm.
And that's, for an example, say you had your spouse as your agent, and 5 years later, your spouse health has declined where they're borderline incapacitated. And you wouldn't really want that person to make a decision for you today
Mhm.
based on what's going on with you
Right.
today.
Mhm.
So that's important that we be mindful that we have legal documents in place, but we
Keep them
want to make sure
updated.
they're updated on a regular basis. And I would say yearly, because things do change.
Mhm.
And in saying that, I'll say that and say that's a situation. For an example, that's a situation, and the offsprings are they're in a situation where as though they don't want to rock the boat, but they know what's in the best interest of their
Mhm.
parent.
Yes.
And so they're not at a loss just because that document, that HIPAA document or that advanced health care directive stated that this person has power of attorney. There is recourse for those who are on the outside, whether it's a family member or whether it's a close friend. The elderly are regarded highly in the legal world.
Mhm.
So courts would entertain a petition coming forward from an outsider saying, look, it's what's best for that individual. It has nothing to do with relationships per se or family member dynamics, anything of that nature. It's what's in the best interest of the
Yeah.
of that person. So if you can petition the court, which you can petition the court regardless of that power of attorney in place or that HIPAA document in place, you
Mm-hmm.
can petition the courts and provide them with evidence why that person who is designated really doesn't have the faculties, if you will, to be making those type of decisions.
Right.
And you just show documentation beats conversation all the time. So you just show documentation, evidence presented to the courts that you are the best person to be the guardian of your mother, your, whatever family member or friend it
Mm-hmm.
may be, and you present evidence to the court, and the court will decide at that point who is the best person to handle the affairs of your loved one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's available to anybody. They're not stuck. They can petition to the courts. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that it is what it is. It's in writing. It's nothing I can do. But that's not the case. Where the
That's a good
elderly
piece
is
of
concerned,
information, Desiree. It really
that's not the
is.
case.
So you can
Okay, wonderful.
advocate for your loved one if you feel as though the current person who has the power of attorney or his the HIPAA contact or whatever it is not the person that the resident or patient your loved one thought they were, and that they're not making best decisions
Not making
for
the best
them.
decision.
Right.
Yes,
So you can,
not who they thought they were, but it's more so they're not looking out for the best interest
right,
of that
right.
person.
What I was saying was that the patient thought they would make the best decision, but they are currently not making the best decision for them. And you, as a
Yes,
loved one to that resident patient, see that the
yes,
decisions that are currently being made are not the
in their best
wishes that
interest.
were that the patient wanted, and
We're not in their
you
best
are
interest.
not left hopeless. There is another level that you can take it to, even though there is legal paperwork filed.
Exactly.
She's saying that you can
Yes,
petition the court to challenge
yes,
that and
yes.
have an outsider of the court look at the decisions that are being made by that person, and the judge commissioner will make a decision to change that person who is not handling that affair, that
Those
resident
affairs
patient
properly.
properly. So you're not left hopeless. You do have some tools and
The
resources
recourse
that can help you file to fight for and advocate for your loved
there.
one. That's
Mhm.
good. A lot of people feel
Yeah.
hopeless. They feel helpless in the situation. They can't do anything. Well, that's her child. Well, that's her
Mhm.
husband. That's this, that's that, and they
Right.
feel hopeless and they need assistance. And this is why we're doing this, for them to get the tools they need. Yeah.
And things vary from state to state.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in the tri-state area, so I'm a little bit more have a little bit more knowledge where Delaware, state of Delaware, Pennsylvania are concerned, and there is a remedy there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's one thing that I wanted to tap on, just piggybacking on some things that you have mentioned. And uh I'm trying to think in regards to the power of attorney. Um, what makes documents legal is that the person has to be competent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's always best to do things ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you don't want a situation where someone can challenge
Right.
your will. Somebody can challenge your power of attorney. They could say that you were coerced, or it's no way that you were able to sign that document.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have, when you have legal documents, is to have them notarized. And if you can have two witnesses also be available to sign with you along on the power of attorney, on your
Mm-hmm.
will, your healthcare directives, things of that nature. Because, like I said, those things can be challenged later if someone was to say, well, you were incompetent, you were coerced into signing it. So you want to avoid those things and to be proactive with your affairs is the key, to alleviate all that unnecessary drama or stress,
Mm-hmm.
because people, when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes to someone you love and care about, we're motivated differently, you
Yes.
know. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that the elderly are protected,
Mm-hmm.
because people do prey upon the elderly,
Yeah.
which is unfair. But we have to, and that's why laws are in place to properly protect the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm just concluding in regards to uh, there's always a remedy available for someone who's on the outside and feel as though they can maneuver in the best interest of their loved one, and they're not stuck. So I just want to hone that in a little.
Right.
And then I want to talk about, I'm trying to think, did we go over wills?
No, we
Wills
went
are
over.
basically a legal, I'm sorry.
No, I was telling you we didn't go over it yet.
So wills are basically a legal document that has your instructions listed, from your uh, bank accounts to your property, real and personal property. You just have everything listed and who you want your possessions to go to. And if you don't have a will, then you're basically leaving it up to the courts. Again, you have to go through probate if something was to happen to your loved one. Now you have to go through probate, and probate can be 8 to 18 months, depending on what state you're in. And it takes a lot of time, and the courts are only about distribution. So, for example, if you have, when you have your will, you definitely want to make sure everything, your wishes and desires are carried out. And you don't want the courts involved in that decision making, because they're not vested. They're
Mm-hmm.
just about strictly about distribution, and it's over with. And say, for example, if you have a will, and you've been a caregiver of an adult who has special needs.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure um, it's very descriptive, that is defined in your will. What is to happen to your money?
Right.
Should that person who is, they're an adult, but however they might be, they're challenged. Do you want all your money to go to them? Because then they would lose their benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really tricky, and you want to make sure everything is laid out. If you have children, and if you have children with special needs, and an adult that you're taking care of that may, is your offspring, and they have special needs as well, you
Mm-hmm.
don't want them to get all the money, because if
Mm-hmm.
it goes through probate and courts, they're going to go through their list of who's the heir, who's first, who's second, who's third in positions. And that's the way your assets will be divvied up. And it might not be your wishes.
Right.
So it's very, very important to have a will. And a lot of people think, oh, I don't have anything to leave. You'd be surprised what a person really does have. And
Mm-hmm.
people fight over the littlest things, when it comes to assets.
Yes, they do.
You'd be surprised. A lot of families are at odds to this day
Mm-hmm.
over property, over um, um, knickknacks, things of
Mm-hmm.
that memorabilia. You'd be
Right.
surprised what family are at odds about when things are not defined in a will.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely want to have one in place, and you want to make sure you don't have to go through probate. You want your loved ones to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, however it is listed in your
Right.
will.
Right.
And so it's very important to have a will,
There's so
because like I
much
said,
that we could cover. This is an ongoing conversation, and one piece of a conversation sparks something else. And you want to make sure you get all this information out to the community so that they can have a selection of resources or tools to be able to stay present in the conversation when it comes to this, the medical legal side of being a caregiver and really allowing you to just be present during the transition and not be bogged down from all sides because things were left undone.
Done.
Same things were left undone. I want to talk to Des so much more. It's so much out there. But
A lot.
Des,
It
do you
is
have
a
any
lot.
more nuggets or do you want to have them provide your information to connect
Yeah,
with you?
I could provide my information.
Mhm.
Individuals can, connect with me. I can help them navigate through this, this estate planning is very, very important. Is
Yeah.
very important. And the sooner we get everything laid out in writing, it makes it easier for our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're not scattered looking for papers and, you have
Yes.
everything laid out in one document. um, you could have your wills um, filed at the local courthouse. So there's always a copy on record. You can leave it with, whoever the agents are in charge of your estate, the executor that's in charge of your estate,
Yeah.
if you will. It's just so important. It's imperative that we take the time out to have a will, have our instructions laid out. It just makes it so much easier that our loved ones are able to grieve and not have to worry about the
Yes.
business.
Yes. The business part of it. We so appreciate you being here and partnering with
Well, it's
iMatter Nurses
well,
Rock. I love when,
yeah,
I always say legacies are made when passions collide, and they collide and they collaborate. So
yeah,
I appreciate you for walking boldly in your purpose and being knowledgeable of all this information to be able to collaborate with us so that we can, just really provide I keep saying it, the tools and resources and the context to be a part of the conversation. There's nothing
yes,
like having to do something and no one helps you, and the people who are supposed to help talk at you, over you, or,
mhm. Or
they
just don't
just
know.
give you paperwork and tell you to read it and sign here and don't take the
Mhm.
time to explain it. We want to make sure that you are adequately equipped
Yep, definitely.
adequately equipped, to be able to have this conversation and advocate and put your affairs in
In
order.
order.
Put your affairs
Absolutely.
in order. You said it earlier, documentation is what? You remember what you said earlier?
Conversation. Yeah, documentation beats conversation any day of the week.
Yes. Documentation beats conversation. Have it written down. In nursing, we say if
Yes.
it isn't written, it isn't done, and it
Exist.
doesn't exist. Write it down, have it
Yeah.
notarized, make a couple of
Yes.
copies and have it in different places. As she said, file
Yeah.
it with the courts. Have it legally somewhere where it can be pulled from and called upon to make sure that your loved one maintains the quality of life that they deserve.
Yeah.
Transition
I
is
just want to
hard.
point out,
Hmm.
I just want to point out one thing. For anyone that has bank accounts, um, make sure you have a beneficiary on your insurance policies. Make sure you have pay on death, POD, with your bank accounts that the money goes to directly to your heir, to the beneficiary, because you'd be surprised how many life insurance people have and they never select the beneficiary.
Mm,
You never select the beneficiary. And your money may go to someone who you really didn't want it to go to.
mm,
So we must put on our bank accounts POD, who the money goes directly to, and
mm,
sometimes have joint accounts with that person,
mm.
because then they become the owner of that account. So some things are just easy to maneuver around, but we need to put it all in writing, have it accessible, and just handle our affairs. So I just wanted to say that real quick. So I apologize
No, you're
for.
good. I'm thinking we're gonna have to do a part two, part three of this. This
Yeah.
conversation gets so big because we're talking about the necessary things that need to be talked about and that are missed. They may seem small to some
Mhm.
people, but it's just like aha moments. Like, I do have I do have a life insurance policy. And how does that work? People don't ask questions. And then they
Mhm.
sign up for stuff that, they don't understand. And when it's time to collect, there's all these loopholes that people didn't pay attention to or no one explained to them. So what you thought you were doing when you thought you were doing a good thing and at least getting a policy or signing up, there's no follow through. So you put all
Mhm.
that money out and you did all what you thought you were supposed to do, but it's the fine details. It's the fine details and asking
Yeah.
how does this really happen? What happens if something happens to me today? And who does it go to? What's the process, especially if you have children under 18 and you get
Yes.
this for your children? I learned that there's a process. There's people that you have to put in place for that, and there's so many other steps. So
Yeah.
we will definitely have a part three about that because finances is a big thing. And you may think that, paying for the funeral, though they got a life insurance policy, but guess what?
You don't
Your
know where
name's
it
not on
is.
it. Where is it?
You don't know where it is.
Where is it? It's not it might be under the mattress. It might be in the
Did it
shoebox.
expire?
You,
Because some expire, you know
and
what I'm
some
saying? People forget to
exactly.
pay their premiums.
Yes, so we will definitely have a part three and be talking about
Thank
life insurance policies and call it the big payout or the big loss, because
Yeah.
yeah, so we will definitely do that. Des, please tell people how
Thank
they
you
can
so
contact you.
much. Yeah, you can contact me. I'm on social media platforms, Facebook, Diva Potts,
And that's Potts
Instagram,
with two T's,
two T's.
Potts.
Yes, so you can reach out to me. Um, I'll share my information with Diamond, of course, that you can reach out to me easily. And I'll also have Diamond a guide,
I was about to mention
estate
the
planning
workbook. Yes,
guide.
I was talking about to talk about that.
Yeah, I'll have a
Mhm.
estate planning guide that your community can download, no charge.
So there will be it's a workbook, a guide that helps you connect the dots and
Yes,
have a check off list that you've handled this, and
yes,
it literally is a guide and a map. It's a map
yes,
for you to take that journey and intentionally get things checked off and
yes,
updated so that you
yes,
can enjoy as much time with your loved one as possible, creating
yes.
memories and valuing their life to the end and not being frustrated,
Mhm.
agitated, or disturbed and distraught
Yeah,
because you're left unequipped or left with the responsibility, this big responsibility, on
it's
top of
huge.
grieving, on top of knowing what may happen next or what the next stage is, on top of all of that, your focus is going to be on the paperwork and
The
bills and who to
business.
talk to versus spending that quality time with your loved one. So we will have a part three, part four.
Wonderful.
We
Thank
so
you.
appreciate you, Desiree. So it's
Thank you
you'll
so
see her
much.
name in the title and her and I will also include her contact information, her business contact information, along with her social media. I know we are all quick to do social media, but we want to make sure we offer you multiple ways to contact her. Make sure you get free guide, saying that on purpose, so that you can help navigate your loved ones' affairs and get them in order. This has
Mhm.
been an amazing, amazing session of iMatter
Yes,
Nurses
thank you
Rock.
so much. Thank you for allowing me to come and share a little
We
bit. Um,
appreciate you. We
I
appreciate you.
appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. So
So it
thank you.
was this much, but I thank you so much for the
Oh,
opportunity.
don't make me smile. All right,
This
so
was
this is,
wonderful.
huh?
I said this was wonderful.
It was so good. Well, this has been I Matter Nurses Rock. I am your host, Sherelle Diamond Hogan's RN, NPE, community activist, nurse extraordinaire, partnering with our community leaders and superstars, rock stars, that are, paving the way and equipping the community to thrive and be um, equipped with all There the word again, tools and resources. I'm telling you, tools and resources, education for you to be successful in life in the current role that you play as a caregiver, to take care of your loved ones, but also take care of yourself. We'll be back
Yes.
with more and other special guests. We'll be back with Desiree with part 3 and 4. Thank you so much. Please tune in. Make sure you get the magazines. Make sure you reach out to us, and you'll see questions and comments from people who emailed in, and we will have their questions and put the answers in the comments, in case it's a question that you did not think of, or this triggered you to think of this question, or you had this, you really want this question answered. Please feel free to email us at sherelle.hogans@gmail.com, and one of my team members will get back to you as soon as possible. Have an amazing day on purpose. On purpose. Thank you so much. We appreciate you all. Remember to rock out, show up, and show out.